Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. You've been asking for this one. Tomas Palacios Scout Report. We are here for this. It's been a quiet summer for Inter. We haven't had really too many exciting signings to get excited about, but this is one of them, the big Argentinian young centre-back that Inter have beaten the likes of Leipzig, Stuttgart, and Bayer Leverkusen to the signing of. So he was a player in demand, and he was a player that Inter and Inzaghi, maybe not specifically Tomas Palacios, but Inzaghi requested a left centre-back after Tajon Buchanan's injury. He felt that this was a gap in the team and that this is what he wanted before the Mercato closed. And this is exactly what he got. Whether it was going to be him or similar profile like Juan Cabal, Ricardo Rodriguez, Hermoso, we'll get into that. But let's focus now on Tomas Palacios. Who is he? Well, first of all, Thiago Tomas Palacios is full name, born in General Pico in La Pampa province of Argentina on April 28, 2003. It gets crazy now when I say some of these birth dates. Kids born after 2000s are playing for Inter is crazy. Makes me feel old. But anyway, started playing for his hometown in Atletico Costa Brava. Then he joined Talleres, which is where Inter have signed him from in 2019. After 8 appearances for Talleres, he moved to Independiente on loan in January 2024, where he made 16 appearances in the Primera División, Copa de la Liga, and Copa Argentina. He is a physical left-footed centre-back, stands at 1.96 m, and at the age of 21, he is joining Inter to become the 52nd Argentinian player at Inter. 52nd. When we talk about football heritage, this is football heritage. Inter and Argentinians, very, very strong link. Moving on, as we mentioned, 1.96 m, the boy, he's a big boy. Look at him. Look at the size of his hand, guys. That is literally like a tennis racket for a hand. Could be a goalkeeper very easily if he wanted to. He's not just in terms of height. You can see he's also kind of, stocky as well for his height. He's not like a skinny, scrawny, tall guy. So that's already, quite a bit of a different profile in this Inter team. Maybe Jan Bisek is the only other guy that has this similar sort of stature and physique. And, as a signing as well, we can compare this to be like a Jan Bisek type signing from Inter, a young, unknown centre-back, not from one of the top, European leagues, moving to Inter. Firstly, mainly as, do we even know is he going to get backup minutes? But, as we saw with Jan Bisek, injuries to Pavard, etc., gave him an opportunity and he took it with both hands. So there's an opportunity there potentially for Palacios to carve out a position in this team. Moving on to some statistical positives of the boy, Tomas Palacios, as tweeted here by Data MB. Again, let's take this as everything. Every time we do these scout reports, take these with a pinch of salt and with context, which I'll add later. But top of the line, main point is that no centre-back in the world has more dribbles per 90, attacking actions per 90, or offensive duels per 90. Wow, okay. Next, no under 30 centre-back in the world has a higher defensive duel win percentage, 3rd overall in the world. And then in the percentiles, he is 99.7th. So literally in the top 0.3% for defensive duel percentage, 96th percentile for defensive action, 92nd percentile for progressive runs. So you're thinking, yeah, this is it. Progressive runs, dribbling, duels. We've got Alessandro Bastoni here. We've got the Argentinian Alessandro Bastoni. And yes, the stats do look very good, but we'll dive deeper into those. But it does tell you at least already what type of defender Inter have signed for sure, that he is definitely in the underlying stats, very, very promising at the moment. And you can see that here in the spider chart as well, defensive action, duel percentage, aerial percentage, carrying. And then now we get to some of the aspects that are maybe some negatives or some things that he has to improve on. You can see when it comes to passes, again, we'll add context to every one of these stats, which is the most important thing when you talk about underlying stats. You'll see the chart almost goes to near zero. It's almost near zero. Forward pass percentage, almost near zero once again. Progressive passes, decent, at least going towards halfway of the bar. So it shows, again, what type of player he is at the moment. But again, we need to contextualize these stats within what team and the league that he plays in, which is what we'll do soon. And again, keep adding these, but he just looks like we signed the best centre back in the world at the moment. First and everything, dribbles, offensive duel, fouls. Like this guy, how have we to sign this guy for 6 million plus bonuses? You're thinking, and then even look at this chart. It's like, this is when you see some charts and you see Messi, and usually it's like Messi is like up there on his own with like dribbles per 90 or chance created per 90. And look at him, Tomas Palacios, alone in the world. He is a unicorn. This is like, Trent Alexander-Arnold or something. It looks crazy. It looks absolutely crazy. Dribbles per 90 against the defensive duels 1%. It looks like we've signed the best young centre-back in the world. But now it's time to contextualize these stats, guys. First of all, the amount of minutes and games he's played. The reason why he's ranking so high in a lot of these stats is because Data MB and a lot of these stats websites that you see are only taking into account the 951 minutes that he's played in the Liga Profesional, so the top league in Argentina. They're not taking into account the other 649 and 157 from the others, because that's, when it comes to these lower leagues, a lot of the stats don't take into account the full 1,700 minutes here. So stats based on only 900 minutes, 951 minutes, that doesn't tell the full story. So already you see the issue with some of the underlying stats we're seeing. The context is that he's not played really that many minutes. Usually, a full season for a player is around 1,500, maybe around 2,000 minutes if he's playing every single game. So this is only, I would say, 13 appearances as well. That's not showing. This is not the full picture. This is not the full picture. Then the other point is 13 games. And I think he started most of those 13 games, if not every single one of them. 6 yellow cards. that's almost a yellow card every other game, or every 2 games he's getting a yellow card. So all the amazing underlying stats, there's one already little issue there that are going to have to be worked on, that you can see a lot of young centre backs have this, this over eagerness, maybe over aggressiveness, maybe not understanding of the game yet, when to make fouls, where to make the fouls, in what situations to make those fouls. I'm sure Inzaghi, the coaching staff, will work on that. He will have to work on that, on his mentality. But 6 yellow cards in 13 appearances in the league, not very good. And then if you see even in the cup, 9 appearances and 3, better ratio, but still, 24 appearances, 9 yellow cards in total is not a very good return at the moment. And then when we dive deeper into his FB ref statistics, you guys know I like to use this in my scout reports. You can see where the issues are coming, and we saw those in the spider charts. A lot of people have compared him to maybe he's a new Bastoni, but actually when you look at his passing stats, there's barely any passing there. As a centre-backs are usually the players that probably alongside, if the CDM, will play the most passes in the game, or sometimes the goalkeepers. But this guy barely cracking, not even in the, he's on the 1 percentile of passes. Like he's literally in the, worst 1% in the world when it comes to passing, attempted, completion, total passing distance, progressive passing, pass completion, short, medium. It starts to get better when it comes to the long ones in terms of attempted long passes and expected assist, but again, 0.08. So you're already seeing, like maybe he likes carrying the ball, but is he that comfortable on the ball? Is he that comfortable passing? At Inter, we will be asking this guy to at least complete, Bastoni, Pavard, Acerbi, these guys complete 40, 50, 60, Sometimes if we're really dominating possession, you're getting over the 60 mark of passes completed. So there's going to be a very different style of play for this guy to get used to. But again, we need to contextualize the stats. Just because he's not completing or attempting many passes does not mean that he's not a good passer. Look at the team he plays for. Independiente Rivadavia. I took a screenshot of one of their recent games that they played against Independiente. And his team had 34% possession. So his team is one of the, and on average, this was one of the screenshots I took from one of the matches, but in general, they hardly ever get more than 50% possession. So this is a team that sits back, lets the other team have the ball, and then probably once they get it, they're looking, this is probably why you also see them perform better in the long passes. They're probably just looking to lump it up quickly forward as quickly as possible, transition or counterattack. So that's, again, contextualizing the statistics, why it looks so bad. It doesn't mean necessarily that he is bad at passing. I mean, we'll take a look in a few minutes together on a video how he looks in terms of his actual playing style and his passing. Heat map, we know, this guy has been playing in the back three. So he's transitioning in terms of the position, and the formation should be pretty much seamless. At Independiente Rivadavia, he plays in the same formation with the 3 or 5 at the back, left centre back, sometimes even in the middle. And you can see that on the heat map. And again, on the heat map, if you compare it to Bastoni's heat map from last season, you can see Palacios, all of his actions pretty much are happening in his own half. Again, contextualize it to the team he's playing in, a team that averages less than 40% possession a lot of the times. He is busy mostly in his own box, in his own half. Very little action going on in the other half. Whereas with Bastoni, you almost see the same amount of action in our own half than in the other half. So there's, another reason to contextualize his stats. But again, is he going to have to get used to that if he wants to play the left centre-back position at Inter, like Bisek and Power do on the other side and Bastoni does on the left-hand side? He has to be comfortable carrying the ball out, be comfortable playing passes in between the lines, switching positions. We've seen how fluid Inzaghi's football has been over the last 3 seasons at Inter. He can go a left wing back at times. He can go left centre mid, right centre mid, up front at times. He has to get used to that. Can he do that? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. And then ultimately, to finish up the analysis, 6.5 million plus bonuses. They're saying that the signing could go up to 10 to 11 million euros total with the bonuses included, which some are easy to reach, some of them are hard to reach. In the end, we are getting close to the level of the rumored signing that we wanted for Juan Cabal, who ended up signing for Juve for around 12 million. At the time, I wasn't a big fan of the Juan Cabal rumors from Hellas Verona because I thought, there's some work to do there. I'm not quite ready. But in the end, if it's true, we end up sending the same money for this guy who's coming from Argentina. It kind of makes you think like, oh, okay, maybe we should have just signed Cabal in the end, who's already starting for Juve and contributing for Juve because he's ready Serie A proven, so you could say. And on the other hand, there's also the school of thought that said we should have just signed Ricardo Rodriguez for free. He was available free, 1.5, 2 million net wages. Apparently, that's the guy Inzaghi asked for and requested for, but denied by the directors or Oaktree, whoever you want to say, because of his age and no resale value. Whereas TOMAS PALACIOS, 6.5 million plus bonuses, whatever, even if it goes badly, should retain some sort of resale value. And then on the other further scale from Ricardo Rodriguez, there was Hermoso, who signed on a free with Roma. He was completely off the charts in terms of his wages. He was asking for more than 4 million net. Some rumors were saying even 5 million net. Oaktree were definitely not on board with that. So overall, the signing, it's low cost. I know for Inter maybe not, but it is a low cost, 6 million plus bonus, a low cost signing. So I'm okay with it. The issue is always, is Inzaghi going to have faith with him? Is he going to get the playing time? We'll have to see about that. But overall, I'm quite content with his signing. And then now let's analyze and take a look at a few of his videos and clips to further analyze his style of play and what do we think of this player. And here we are, guys. Shout out to Brazil Scout on YouTube who made this compilation of Tomas Palacios. He's talking here about his best attributes, which is like everything, and the only weakness is long pass accuracy. Let's see. Similar players. Interesting that he's been compared to Pavlovic, who is the recent Milan signing, and Gerard Brantwaite from Everton. That's quite interesting. Both very good young up-and-coming defenders. So let's have a look how he looks as a player. Let's skip past this bit here and let's have a look. So there you can see the aggressiveness that we're talking about, going in straight for the tackle. And here some ball carrying. He looks like, I don't know if you guys agree, the way he runs and his gait and his style of running almost reminds me of Nemanja Matic, you know, the former Man United, Chelsea and Roma midfielder. But yeah, you can see here, very good at stepping in, waiting for his opportunity. And of course, in the air, this guy is massive, very, very imperious and imposing. Very good on the interception. And look at this, look at that. He's got something in his locker of a long shot. Even, you know, Bastoni doesn't have this. That's good to see. Great bit of power and technique. Have a look. I see it 1v1 on the side. Yeah, he seems to be even comfortable with quick defenders. Here, look, you can probably see why he gets maybe some yellow cards like there. There was no really need to like go in. I know he won the slide tackle there, but there was no really need for him to go for the slide tackle. But yeah, this is what I'm saying in terms of contextualizing the, again, you saw that maybe he's overzealous. There's kind of youthfulness about him, exuberance. This is very risky, you know, doing a roulette in the middle of the pitch. You could potentially lose the ball here. I'm sure Inzaghi will coach that straight out of him. But you can see he's got that eagerness of like, you know, winning the ball back and then also making the run forward as soon as he can, like a lot of the Inter defenders like to do here. You can see he's got the physique to keep players off him and then also the running power to keep carrying the ball. Actually, this is something that he'll be able to bring. I think only Bisek really has this kind of carrying ability. I think Bastoni as well to some extent. Yeah, you know, defensively, of course, these are highlights. This is not showing his mistakes, which, you know, I don't really like to judge players via these comps because the compilation is using all his highlights. But there you are seeing little mistakes, like even there, you know, he's carrying the ball out and he gets nicked here. And, you know, at Inter, you'll know that Di Marco will be up here, Mkhitaryan, Barella, you know, everyone will be up. And this is potentially a situation where we could be exposed if he does that at Inter. But yeah, you can see again that aggressiveness, calm on the ball as well in situations like these. But of course, he needs to be tested at much higher pressure situations, much higher level of football. Oh, yeah, even some good move manipulation with his right foot there. It's good to see. Good reading of the game. But again, he doesn't always need to be going for the slide tackles. You know, I know in the Argentinian league, a lot of the style of play is like this. You see a lot of players going to the ground. There's a lot of slide tackling compared to other leagues. It's a lot more physical in that way. But you definitely is going to have to cut that out in Serie A. But, you know, in these clips, he's showing some good reading. But you can see that he slid in, but he didn't win the ball in the end. Yeah, no, you can definitely see that he's very comfortable on the ball, that in a team like Inter, who we're going to have, you know, 55, 60% possession, I think he's going to be fine, even though the stats might not show that. Look at that. He's got also that goal line clearance IQ of, you know, getting there when his keeper is out of the goal. Yeah, sneaking in, little tackle there, very good. Again, very good ball manipulation, risky, but he's pulling it off. The rumors mentioned that the teams competing for his signing were the likes of Stuttgart, Leipzig, you know, these German teams, Leverkusen. They're all very progressive in their style of play, you know, high pressing. You can see he's not coming from that type of team, but you can definitely see how he's going to fit there. One thing I haven't been able to see in this clip, but you can see there, he's not the quickest, you know, he's massive, so he's not going to be quickest, but I want to see how his kind of speed and open space looks like. You know, Inter do miss a bit of athleticism at the back, but, you know, he seems to cope okay with some of the smaller, quicker wingers as well. Maybe, you know, he's got the body potentially to also become a central centre back, you know, long term. That's also, you know, a potential role that Inter do need. That it seems like Inzaghi doesn't see Bisek in it at the moment, which I also not sure if Bisek can cover that. But, you know, Palacios seems like he's got the build and the makings of a traditional centre back as well, alongside his progressive abilities. Oh, little nutmeg as well, which you guys know I can appreciate. Oh, look at that going past. Oh. Yeah, you see, there's always a bit of like overzealousness, but yeah, he's very eager. You see Acerbi, Bastoni doing a lot of these runs, you know, pass it on, and then he's just sprinting into space. Maybe he doesn't even get it, but, you know, this is Inter system does allow for that, a lot of this free movement. So I think he's going to fit in quite well in terms of that. Here looks like they're almost like youth league games, some of these clips as well. So you have to take into account that. And I think all of these clips are from playing against adults. But yeah, look, physically he's, you know, playing against, and even the adult clips, he's playing against adults, and his body's, you know, coping very well. Which is why I remember, you know, when we were watching, if you remember my scout report from the BSEC one, well, that's one of the things I was commenting on, that he's this young 21, 22-year-old in those clips. And, you know, he's standing out, like he's playing amongst, you know, these Danish adults, but he looks bigger and stronger than them already. And you see similar traits here with Palacios, that he looks, even when playing against guys that are much older than them, he looks imposing and physically superior to them. Again, he loves carrying the ball, doesn't he? And try to get forward. So I really think Inter's style of play could suit him. If, you know, he's got a few things to iron out. We can see that. Yeah, he loves the little fake shot as well. But, you know, he's got very good ball manipulation for his size as well. Very, very interesting. And again, he just keeps, as soon as he starts running, he keeps reminding me of Nemanja Matic, which is not a bad thing at all. Yeah, look at that. He's always ready to dive in, always ready. Yeah, look at that. On the front foot. He's looking good. He's looking good. But yeah, as we said, you know, stats might not show it, but he does seem pretty good on the ball. But we'll have to see when he's got different, you know, tactics and styles of play against him, different, more intensive pressing in Serie A, more physically ready players as well. It's going to be different. But the base material for Inzaghi and the coaching staff to work with is definitely there. And as I said, I also see potential for the centre-back role as well for Palacios. So again, 6.5 million plus bonuses. It's a decent signing. It's a good signing. I'm happy with that. Again, whether he plays or not, that depends on him in training, how he learns the language, how he integrates, you know, how Lautaro and co and the Argentinians help him. Let's see how that goes. If there's any injuries to, you know, Carlos Augusto or Di Marco, you know, that's where maybe he's going to be called upon to step into that left centre-back role. So if the opportunity arises, he needs to be ready for it. But that was my scout report, guys. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you make of the signing? Price, if you didn't want to sign him, who would you have signed instead? Would you have signed Hermoso, even though he had really expensive wages, which I don't think Inter should do anymore? I agree with Oak Tree with those types of signings. Ricardo Rodriguez, would you have done that one? I personally probably might have done that one just because it was so cheap on the wages too. Or, yeah, would you have signed Palacios? And why? Is he going to be the next best centre-back in the world? Is he better than Bastoni? Is he the Argentinian Bastoni? Let me know in the comments down below. Ciao ragazzi, always, Forza Inter, Forza Palacios.